Hi everyone! For this week's Waggin Wednesday episode, we're going to be following Sven around and talking about the importance of recognizing your dog's body language. This is super important because if you don't listen to your dog's body language, if you don't recognize when your dog is stressed, it can lead to some pretty not so fun times with your pet. So we're going to be following Sven around to kind of show you some of the different ways that, you know, dogs communicate with you, whether they're stressed or stuff like that. So let's go follow Sven around and find some dogs and, you know, learn some body language.
So we can start off first by vocalization. When the dogs are barking, whining, crying, these can all be stress signals. Right there you hear the dog whine a lot. It's a stress signal that he wants to get out. He's being overly stimulated. Alright guys, so we see this guy's generally happy. He has a nice tail wag right in the middle of his tail. He's approaching me. He has nice bright eyes, an open mouth, relaxed mouth. This dog is a very happy, content dog right now. So when you see a dog that's stressed out, like these two are, they're both very shy, very timid. There's different ways you can approach these dogs to make them feel more secure. Of course, you have to judge the whole dog, not just part of its body. I know these dogs fairly well, so I know they're not going to act aggressively towards me. If we get down to their level, approach them from the side. We're not approaching them front on. We're not looking at them directly in their eyes. Then we can approach him, and he actually approaches me. If I were to turn and face him, he's avoiding me right now. And it's as simple as that. Approaching the dog from the side and not directly on. Even though this dog seems like he's very withdrawn and very introverted, he's communicating very well with you. If you're not picking up on these stress signals, that's when you can push the dog over the edge to where he feels like he needs to run away or he needs to stand his ground. That's why when we're approaching these dogs and they are stressed out, we need to take a step back and approach the situation a little bit more slowly or from a different angle.
So what are some of the ways that if a dog does feel cornered, what are ways that they can react to that?
If a dog is feeling cornered, the dog could start urinating on itself. It could roll over, exposing its belly to you. It's not asking for a belly rub. It's saying that it's very submissive. It doesn't want any confrontation at all. Worst case scenario, the dog could come at you and bite you to have you go away. It's not an aggressive bite. It's what we call being defensive aggressive. They lunge at you, they bite at you to get you to back away. When we're doing it and we see these signs of him panting like this, his tail down, avoiding eye contact, these are all signs that we want to move a little bit more cautiously when we approach this dog. So if we can kind of zoom in a little bit maybe, you can see her back leg twitching. This is not from illness or anything like that. This is from her being nervous for my presence right now. So I'm going to lower myself down. I'm going to get sideways to her. She's very attentive, very looking at me. But with all that lip licking, trying to make herself smaller, nervousness, shaking, these are all signs of the dog being very stressed. If I approach her too quickly, too abruptly, this is when a dog like this could snap at me and bite. And it's not out of aggression, it's out of fear because the dog is afraid of me. Now, you don't go all the way and go up and pet the dog. You can present yourself. The dog can come to you a little bit.
So that's often like a misconception is people reach too quickly to pet a dog that they don't know.
Yeah, so oftentimes, especially when fosters are being taken home, they want this dog to be part of their family. And oftentimes the best thing for the dog is to allow the dog to approach you and be comfortable around you, and not you forcing yourself upon the dog. Now once she gets a little bit more comfortable and you can see that she's not going to bite you or anything like that, and she's not being overly stressed, we can pet the dog a little bit. Oftentimes underneath the chin, stuff like that. If you go over her head, you notice how she lowers her head down. And now, just by me doing that, she's approached me. So this is a good sign that this dog can be worked with.
Okay, Sven, so let's recap some of what we talked about during this video. We mentioned some, signs of stress in your pet. Can you kind of go over some of those a little bit more?
Okay, so to recap, when we are approaching a new dog, taking in a new dog into our house, anything like that, we have to make sure to look at the whole body, not just the head, the ears, the body or the tail or something like that. Dogs are masters of sending you mixed signals. So we just look at the overall body and the body posture and judge how the dog is feeling that way. With that being said, we can take apart some key elements. Stuff like for the head, if its ears are laying back, if it's giving you, dilated pupils and big white parts of their eye, those are signs of stress. If it's panting or licking its lips. For its body, if it's raising its leg, if it's crouching down and trying to get smaller, if it's barely moving its tail, or the tail is tucked underneath between its legs, these are all signs of a dog being stressed out. And zooming out, we can see 2 or 3 of these being exhibited all at the same time. And when we do find ourselves in a situation where we're confronting a dog like this, we do have to make sure to go a little bit slower. We don't want to stress the dog out to its limit, where it's either going to resort to a fight or flight, whether it's going to run away, or it might bite at us, especially inside a house where it can't run away. So we just got to take into the dog's consideration about how stressed we're making these dogs as well.
So some of the common misconceptions that people have with their pets are like, my dog loves hugs, or we think they're like kids or like teddy bears, and we want to hug them, we want to love on them, we want to show them as much affection as we have in our body, but that stresses out your pet too, right?
Exactly, and it goes back to reading the dog's kind of body posture overall. Instinctually, dogs don't enjoy hugs. They don't enjoy looking them directly in the eyes and smiling. Those kind of signals, dog to dog, is a signal of they want an altercation. It's not a signal of love and happiness and stuff like that. So they can learn to like to be hugged, but especially with a new dog, a shelter dog, stuff like that, to approach the dog and give them a hug is probably not the greatest thing for a dog. It does stress them out.
So what are some of the ways that if you notice that your dog is showing some of these stress signals, what can you do to make your pet calm down a little bit?
Okay, so we can always avoid eye contact. You can stare at their chest or their back or something like that when you're looking at them. Not direct eye contact, especially not steady eye contact. Avoid smiling and showing your teeth. We can always get down a little bit towards their level and squat down a little bit. We can approach from the side more rather than approaching head on with a dog. These are all signs, or these are all ways that we can not overly stress a dog when approaching, especially a stressed out dog, a dog that's already showing these signs.
And so, with the videos that we went over today, earlier in this video, these are, shelter pets. They've been in the shelter for days or weeks or even months, and so of course they're in a very stressful environment. They're going to be showing a lot more signs here. The signs that in a home environment might be a little bit more subtle. That's why it's really important, to pay attention to your pet, what they're trying to communicate with you, because they can't talk to us. The only way that they can communicate with us is, with their body language. So these signals in the videos are a lot more pronounced because they are so stressed and they're here longer periods of time. So just make sure that you're, checking on your pet, watching how they're reacting to different situations. And I mean, this can change over time, right? Like 1 minute they could be stressed out and another minute they can shake it off and be fine.
Absolutely.
So every situation is going to be different for every pet. So just, watch your pet and see how they react to different situations. So Sven, is there anything else you'd like to mention about body language?
So it's more so about communication. You did mention that they can't communicate with us, and what I'm trying to stress here, I guess, is they are trying to communicate with us. We have to be open as much as we want to communicate with them and build that bond, that bridge. They're communicating via body language, and for us to enhance our knowledge about that and understand that they can't vocalize or verbalize what they're trying to tell us, but there is a line of communication that we can learn to decipher.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Sven, for taking us around and showing us a little bit about pet body language. Feel free to submit any questions or comments that you might have with pet training, either with your own pets or if you have any other questions about animal behavior in the comments below. We'd be happy to cover them in a future episode. But until next week, we'll see you guys then.